Why is imagination the last tool that you want to use? Why is it always a resistance to getting all wiggly and weird? Let's debunk all of that in this video. I used to be extremely rigid, very logical, outcome and results based. This kind of helped me trust the execution, trust the speed that I'm going at. I had this metric and discipline about where I was going with my creative arts. Does that sound fun? So I thought imagination was kind of vague, fluffy, abstract, subjective, and most of all was kind of almost like irresponsible as an artist. So I doubled down on logic and action and traditional methods. And without realizing, I kind of capped my own results. I made my own ceiling and nothing was going to change. How am I supposed to find my style if I've already put myself in this tiny little box that isn't going to get me anywhere? So most people don't usually fail from a lack of action when it comes to making art. It's more or less the fear of making the wrong outcome, making the wrong lines, making the wrong art. Our logic likes to optimize our productivity to the point where it's like, you're going to draw faces, it's going to look like faces. You're going to draw objects or landscapes, those are the things that you want to perform and produce. And we want to step away from that. That is the most important part. I think the real problem is when the outcome is unclear, we don't know what the path is. And so our body just starts freezing up and we're not able to create art because we don't know where we're going. And it's kind of like when you get in your car and you have a destination, you know where you're going. But if you get in the car and you are like, I'm just going to drive and find a scenic route, your brain kind of goes, oh, that's kind of scary, right? So this is the reframe I would love to provide everyone before we begin with our art project today. And that is that imagination is already the outcome. I know it sounds a little silly, but it's getting out of your head. That is the most important part here. It mentally tests your boundaries and it takes a little time and energy to kind of do the thing where your subconscious mind isn't trying to control what you're doing with your hands. Why do rigid thinkers struggle so much with this? It feels like letting go is so unsafe. You're like, what the F is happening? I don't want to go there. It's the unknown. It doesn't feel comfortable or safe. I'm going to stick to what I know, which causes us not to explore different avenues of mediums and styles. And it can really hinder our creative craft when we're finding something that really shines upon the world. It feels unproductive to make art that doesn't make sense, can't be measured immediately or at all. It's not a metrics-based thing. And sometimes by refusing imagination, we cut off an entire portal of accessible art for us. The play, the curiosity, where kids just grab a crayon and they just go all crazy about it, right? So the practical use is imagination can be a filter. But first, the very, very first thing is I'm going to invite you to take a pencil and write down, what does imagination mean to you? What are some of the concepts and stories that we have, embodied into ourselves? Don't let your imagination run off. Imagination run off. Or run away, right? Run away with you. Oh, it's just your imagination. What else have people said to you? These are very common ones. And then how does that serve you? How about if I wrote imagination is fun and easy? And do you believe that is true? Or is your logical brain saying, no, it's not? Only kids play with imagination. What about the people who write epic stories and epic movies that we love? Like everything from Star Wars to Harry Potter. That's imagination coming to life. So seeing imagination as a superpower versus as an enemy or a villain is one of the ways that we can tap back into it. So I've actually been trying to learn how to draw faces, which is a very structural form of how we create art. It's very traditional. But on the other hand, I went and I taught Strong Start as their preschool class where parents come and it's free. And we taught a little bit about line art and portraits. So it's without looking at the paper. We draw a portrait. We pick a point in our face and we draw it. Look how wild this is. And we colored it. And I think a lot of the children, even the parents, had a bit of a struggle with stepping out of the box. My daughter did too. She was like, I don't like this. This is hard. And she really struggles with perfectionism, which is why I brought this practice for the little ones to say, hey, it can be fun, it can be weird, and we can use our imagination. How beautiful is that? I ask you to grab some colors, which I have done here, and a piece of paper. So I'm just gonna have fun. So I give you full permission to play and to fill up this piece of paper with all the colors that you love and see what arises. I'm going to just move the camera a little lower and you can see this unfold. So we can just scribble, and let's scribble with our other hand, our non-dominant hand. I'm doing art journaling more and more these days because I think there's something really amazing about being wild, being outside of the box, without looking at references. There's value in all of that. Because when we look at references, we want to copy it. It's like the immediate thing that our brain wants to do. Even when I'm looking at references from my face drawings, I want to copy it. I want it to look really good. I want to show somebody being like, look how awesome and realistic this is. But then there's a part of me that says, I don't like the rigidity. I don't like the path of, my journey being mapped out for me. I want to go off the beaten path. And that's where this comes into play. So I want to do more art journaling. I want to do more reflections on how we tap into our imagination, why it seems so scary. Yeah. And I'm just free drawing here. It's awesome. I'm filling up my page. This is an old art journal that I had. I'll show you some of the pages right at the end. And for anybody who doesn't know, my name is Jenny. I'm a founder of Soul Art, the nonprofit organization creating grassroots movement to empower creatives to bring their own events to life. We're doing drum circles, community connection through yoga, breath work, meditations, Dungeons and Dragons, as well as create and mingle watercolor classes. I hope to bring figure drawing in there. And I just love this. Oh, I broke it. So you can notice like how fast are you drawing? How slow are you drawing? Just enjoy this process. Enjoy the color mixing. Oh, this is beautiful. I actually really like these colors. You know what? And only you know. Only you know when it is done. And this is my piece here. Okay. I would love to hear what came up for you. If you're not already inside the community I have, the link is in the bio. Share in the comments. Oh yes, and I remember I'm going to share some of my pieces inside this art journal. This was my very first one. So some writing, some drawing, a color wheel that's related to how I feel, some different styles of art. Lots of colors. This one's this way, and it says you are unlimited. I'm a grateful flower, some collage. So there's many ways that you can art journal, and I hope to tap more into it. Letter to your present self, letter to your past self, another little mini collage here. I try to date them. Some line drawings. And so there's many, many different ways that we can explore. Oh, I like this one. So enjoy art journaling and let me know what comes up when you think about the word imagination.